Rand Paul is pushing his controversial tax plan, but before we can get to the liberal attacks against the tax plan, he's going to have to weather the conservative attacks against his tax plan in this video clip.
Under your plan, a family making from $50,000 to $75,000 a year would get a 3% rise in income. Sounds pretty good, but a family making more than $1 million a year would get a 13% rise in income. Question, doesn't your plan massively increase income inequality?
Well, the thing is income inequality is due to some people working harder and selling more things. So if people voluntarily buy more of your stuff, you'll have more money. And it's a fallacious notion to say, oh, well, rich people get more money back in a tax cut.
It's a fallacious notion. First of all, it's objectively true. They literally get more money back. Fuck you, Rand Paul. What the fuck? That's what income inequality means?
That's not what...
You're supposed to be a responsible politician. You don't... Okay, fine. Say I don't care about income inequality. I won't do anything to change it. Don't fucking lie and say that it's just the result of like, well, some people are more awesome. You are not awesome. Thus, you make less money. Are you a kid? Are you Donald Trump?
So that argument, the accurate argument about income inequality doesn't... It goes against his libertarian narrative, right? So that's why he has to give you this bullshit answer that we both could see through drunk with one eye closed, right?
Yeah.
So you could see like, oh, you're totally full of shit there. I wonder why. Oh, because if you gave the right answer, that would mean government actually does play a role in making sure that the economy is fair to everybody.
Yeah.
Because right now the government plays a role in making sure the economy is unfair and in fact is rigged. I've said it on this show a million times. We don't have free markets. You have heavily regulated markets that are invented by human beings, and then the richest people in that economy then buy the people who make the rules to rig the system in their favor even more, and that's been happening at such an amazing breakneck speed in the last 30 years since Ronald Reagan that we now have the biggest income inequality in the history of our country since the Gilded Age.
Yes.
And half of all wage earners earn less than $30,000 in the richest economy the world has ever seen. Our economy is still twice the size of China's. Don't ever forget that.
Yeah.
So when they say we don't have the money and income inequalities because people don't work hard enough, we all know the people who work the hardest are the poorest people in this country.
That is an amazing point. And look, your explanation of how income inequality is generated by government policy, I love that we live in a political system right now where in the past week that has been described by Jimmy Dore and Donald Trump at the last debate, where he showed exactly, like, I just follow the rules that people like me have put into place. And for him to say, or to imply here, that he doesn't understand that income inequality is a direct result of government policies is especially ridiculous after he just saw the graphic that described how income inequality would expand under his tax policy. It is literally on the screen in front of him, and he can't understand it and say, oh, wait, if this tax policy would increase income inequality, what about the past 10 bills? What about all the bills under George W. Bush? What about all that shit? Did that not have any effect either? And then, look, we're reading a description of this interaction between them from MSNBC, and thankfully that writer, Steve Bannon, points out, okay, so income inequality is higher now than it was in previous decades. So what the hell was wrong with those rich people back in the 40s? Why were they so goddamn lazy that they couldn't make even more money than the rich? Apparently, in the Gilded Age, and like the trust that it needed to be busted when, like, then all of a sudden it's just, people got lazy for 30 or 40 years. You know what? I'd love to be richer, but I don't want to get out of bed. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
John, I don't know if you've noticed, but rich people have been working their ass off lately, like the last 30 years.
They're really hard workers.
That's why they have more money. They've been working harder. You don't think Donald Trump is...
Must be computers.
Yeah.
Maybe they type way faster than regular people.
I'm sure Donald Trump works a lot harder than the people who work at his hotels.
I'm sure. He should switch places with them. Take a load off for a little while. Seriously. You can coast a little bit on your savings and everything.
Pull a night shift over at managing the Trump Plaza.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that is the big story that I think doesn't get talked enough about how lazy the poor people are, where they go to their 4 jobs in one day and they barely do anything in any of them.
Yes. Yeah, so
that they can barely feed their kids.
That's what Rand Paul's saying. That's that old thing, hey, again, all the things that made Rand Paul attractive was that he was a truth teller, that he would push against his own party's narrative when it was flawed and incorrect, and and destructive to our own country, no matter if it's foreign policy or domestic policy or the economy or prison or about our criminal justice system. He's pushing against his own party's narrative on that. And so when he's asked now when he wants to be president and he's asked direct questions, he totally folds. It's like all the things the only thing you have frickin' going for you, because you look like a man-child on stage. If you see, he looked like he shops at the boys section at Sears.
Yeah.
That suit.
Well, soon you won't be able to call it the boys section.
Yeah,
at Target.
but he seemed like didn't Rand Paul not seem like a little boy with a perm on that
Yeah,
stage?
that wasn't one of my chief problems with him, but
He's just the way he came across. It was like he's such a child.
Yeah, even his attacks against the other candidates did come across as a little bit forced, a little bit unnatural. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, when he was talking about Israel, when he was talking about all of that, like he backed off about the creation of ISIS. He backed off from his actual position that we give him credit for. Here, though, this is what actually being true to your economic libertarian philosophy. It is one of the most revolting things when you see an honest depiction of someone's libertarian economic philosophy, and I think it is going to be a major turnoff. It was a major turnoff to Chris Wallace. You can't even win over him. And by the way, Chris Wallace, thank you for pointing out that this tax plan would increase income inequality. Could you perhaps save that clip and play it for every other Republican who talks about taxes when they come in your program?
No.
That'd be nice, thank you.
That will not happen.
That will not happen.
That will not happen.
What Jeb Bush's tax policy, it's so progressive.
So it'll help
so
people.
progressive.
It helps the
Scott
working
Walker, incredibly progressive. What do you know?
It'll help raise the union's pay.
Yeah.
The Scott Walker.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're
right.
Right
That's a
before they
great
get
point.
kicked in the nuts.
Chris Wallace, please, you know what? I'm going to tweet at Chris Wallace now every Sunday. Hey, please
Thank
use
you for
this
pointing
graph.
that out. Yeah.
Please use this graph on every Republican. He won't.
Yeah, no, he won't. Yeah.
Because Roger
anyway.
Ailes doesn't want him to.
No. And finally, when you get a little bit of time, look up the actual details of Rand Paul's flat tax. It couldn't work. Could not work. Could not work for one goddamn second in terms of funding, not my priorities for the federal government, but his stated priorities. It would not happen. It would decimate our economy.